Hey guys, today we're going to continue our unit on patterns and equations, and today we're talking more specifically on finding the rules for patterns. Now we have been talking about learning what an equation is and how it's equal on both sides, but now we're switching to the pattern side of it and finding the rules. Now you still will be using equations, and in fact you are finding the rule for these patterns which involve an equation, finding the equation that is there. So if we look at this pattern here, for example, we can see, or this table, sorry, if we look at this table here, we can see that the numbers are already in, but today we're going to be looking at tables that have mystery numbered, or blanks that we're going to have to fill in. Now, tables are often used as a means of displaying numbers pairs. If the number pairs follow a pattern, you can write a rule for the table. A rule is a numerical expression, as we said, that describes the relationship between each pair of numbers. So let's look at this table below here. Let's look at this table. So we're going to find a rule for these two. You have the top to bottom. Generally, our rule goes from the top number to the bottom number, and it will be opposite if we go from bottom to top. So let's look at the rule here. So I can look at these two and I can say I'm either from the top one to the bottom one, I'm either adding 2, so I'm adding 2, or I'm multiplying by 3, because 1 times what gives me 3? 1 times 3. Now, usually when you find tables, you're going to either add, subtract, multiply, or divide to find your patterns or rules, and you have to figure out which one. So you have to know all your facts. That's why it's important to know all your facts readily so you can do these very quickly and find the rules very quickly. So 1 times 1 plus 2 is 3, and 1 times 3 is 3. So now let's see which one of these works. Let's try a plus. 2 plus 2, does that equal 6? No. So we know this one cannot be our rule. So let's see if multiplying by 3 works. 2 times 3. 2 times 3 does equal 6. So let's try 5. 5 times 3. 5 times 3. Yes, 5 times 3 equals 6 is 15, sorry. And 6 times 3, 6 times 3 is 18. Yes, that works. And 8 times 3 is 24. Now, it's important that you want to check all the numbers that you have, all the parts on the table, just to make sure your rule is correct. Because if it's not correct, or if the first one's correct and the second one's correct, but the third one is not correct, then you could be wrong completely. So you want to make sure that it's all correct. So at this one, my rule is multiply by 3. So let's go ahead and look at another example where we don't have all the blanks filled in. So let's look at this table here. So we have this table here, and now you see you have 3 different missing numbers. Now oftentimes your table will look something like this. You can find your rule here, and then you have to find in the missing parts here. So with this one, you can see you have the rule, that you have the top one, but not the bottom one. Then you have the bottom one, but not the top one. And in this one, you have 2 blanks. So let's go how we can find each one of these. First step is finding our rule here. So these will tell us what our rule will be. So since the top one is bigger than the bottom on all of these, I know I'm either going to subtract or I'm going to divide. So let's look at the first one. 4 minus what gets me 2? 4 minus 2. And then let's look if I divide. 4 divided by what equals 2? Oh, 4 also divided by 2 gets me 2. So let's see which one over here. 10 minus 2, does that get me 8? Yes. So the rule, this one works here. And then 8 minus 6, yes, that still works. So 10 divided by 8, no. So we know division is not going to be a rule, but subtract by 2 will give me my answer. And I check to make sure that it works with all of the ones I have, so I know that this is correct. So subtracting by 2. All right. So now that we know the rule, subtract by 2, we are going to see if we can find out what these would be. So 14 minus 2. So 14 minus 2 is going to be 12. And then so with this one we have to go backwards. Now if we're going backwards, the top one is going to be bigger, correct? So instead of subtracting 2, we're going to have to add 2. So like 12 plus 2 is 14, 6 plus 2 is 8. So let's try 7 plus 2 would be 9. And so we can check our rule with the top one, 9 minus 2. So it's back and forth. They become somewhat of a fact family, so that's how it works. Now if you have two blanks, they're going to be, you can pretty much put in whatever you want up here, so like 18, and then you just apply the rule. 18 minus 2 would be 16. So that's how these work.